Alright, hey everyone, this is Max, and today we're going to be looking at the Rockpals Rockpower 500. This is a new solar generator from Rockpals, and they requested me to review it for them. If you saw the unboxing video that I posted, you will see the just the simple basic specifications, and in this review I'm going to be testing the system and going over a few other things. So first will be a basic overview of the system, and I'll be going over the port options, its weight, and some other specifications. Next, I'll get into the testing of the system. I have some items in my office that I'll be able to power and show you what it can do. Next, I'll get into recharging, the best way to recharge it, as well as the different charging methods. Then we'll go into the specifics, so some other sort of minute details or some things you probably want to consider before getting one of these. Then we'll get into the possible kits for the Rockpals for this specific model, and also where to buy it, the price, and then that will be all. So let's go ahead and dive into the basic specs, and then testing will be after that. Okay guys, so first off we have the basic specs right here. I'll just run through them, and if I have anything to say about it, then I'll let you know. So first we have the battery capacity just under 505 watt hours. We have the weight at 12.3 pounds. There's its dimensions in inches. And we have two AC outlets, which you can see are right here. They're both covered. And those ones produce about 500 watts continuous, and then a 750 watt surge or peak. Next, we have two USB-A ports. These are located right here. These are two standard ones. However, they're rated for 5 volts, 3.1 amps each one, so they still give a good amount of power. And then we have the quick charge port, which will give you, it looks like at the most, 18 watts maximum of power. That is this one. There's a little blue tab in here. I'm not sure if you could see that from the angle of the video, but it's this one in the upper right hand corner. And then also here, which is a really nice feature to have, is this USB-C PD port. So it's an in and an out, so you could charge the battery using this, or you can use the USB-C to charge something like a laptop. Next we have the two 5mm DC outputs. These are both right there. And they have, let's see, 12 volts at 5 amps, so 60 watts maximum per port. And then we have one car port, which is also covered, and that is a 120 watt maximum. Now, for the inputs, we have two of them right here. There's the Anderson one, which is for solar input, and then we have another DC input here. This is for the AC charger, or for the car charger, which also came with this system. Now, we could see that 72 watts maximum for the DC input. So for the solar, you can get, it's 11 to 24 volts, 120 watts maximum, and that's through this Anderson port, the one that has red and black. So the USB-C PD port, this one gives you 45 watts maximum of input, and you can combine them in different ways. I'll get into that later once I get into the recharging section. But those are the basic specifications. Other than that, I'll get into more details later. Okay, so now we're going to be testing. So before I get into it, I just want to show you how to turn everything on and off. So first, I have on the left here, the LCD screen, and there's two buttons. The one all the way on the left is the power button. And sorry if it's a little wobbly, I'm holding this thing. This thing is like 12 pounds. But you hold down the power button for like 3 seconds, and then the screen lights up. It is backlit, and it just will turn on after that. Next, you just click the display. Obviously there's nothing running in or out of this, so it's not showing much, but it just shows you the battery percentage right now. And that's it. It goes off and on. Okay, next here, to turn on the ports, pretty simple here. So for the AC ports, this is the unique part. All you have to do is hold it down just like the power button, and that will turn on the inverter. I can already feel the fan just lightly on the right hand side blowing air out, and it shines green, and then you just hold it down to turn it off. To turn on this section of the 4 USB ports, you just click it once and it turns on and it flashes green, and then you just have to turn it off by clicking it. Very similar here, you just turn it on for these 12 volt ports and then press it once to turn it off. Okay guys, so first I'm going to go ahead and charge the Sherpa power bank, which can take in up to 60 watts from the USB-C connection, but this one can output up to 45 watts, so let's see if we can get the full 45 watts from the Rockpals into the Sherpa. I'm going to tilt this so you can see the screen, hopefully. Let's go ahead and I'm going to plug it in right now. And hopefully, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it is putting in to the Sherpa 43 watts. It's shuffling between 42 and 43 watts in, which is really good to see. There we go. So 43 watts are coming into the system. So the USB-C port is working really nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the USB port off section off now. And then I'm going to use this, just the USB-A port, all 3 of them, to charge the Sherpa up again. So it looks like we're right at 12 watts coming in. Okay, let me try the next port just to make sure that it works correctly and that everything is flowing smoothly. It should be right around that 12 watts coming in. And you could see 12 watts are coming in. So now we're going to be using the laptop charger to go ahead and start charging the laptop. Plug it in, and then you turn the power button on first. Okay, we're good. And then we hold down the power button down here. Okay, now you can see the different output here. So right now we're at 24 watts coming out, 25, 27. The fans, I don't know if you heard that, but the fans, right when I plugged it in and powered everything, they turned on and then they turned off. I don't feel anything coming out of the fans, but now we're up to 45 watts coming out. Okay, so I've hooked up 2 USB-As to this little power brick. We're gonna see if we get more than that 45 maximum amount of watts coming out of the AC port to charge my iPhone, if you can see that, and my power bank. And let's see how much power is coming out. It might be the same amount, I'm not quite sure. But here we're at 24, 41, 45, 47. Okay, we're a little higher now, 55. Okay, so right when we hit 55, the inverter fan started kicking on. It's a light fan, it's not really that loud at all, but it is on. And you can see now we have about 67 watts coming out of the system. And so now we're hovering around 65 to 67 watts coming out of the Rockpower system. Okay guys, so now I just turned off the lighting in my office, just the extra lighting. And I have this power strip here that's going to connect my lights and the fan that I use. I'm gonna plug it in here. Here's the fan I'm using. It's just a very small desk fan. And then I have these lights that you'll see in the background that show up. So first off, I plug in the LED strip lights. There's quite a few of them, so it might take up a decent amount of power. Let's see how they perform. Turning them on, and the lights are on. All right, so not bad, 16 watts coming out of there. The second light I have is just a typical light bulb. I think it has around 15 watts that it takes out. Okay, just plug that in, now it's lit up. Now we have about 21 watts total coming out of this AC port. Now I'm going to plug in the fan, and let's see what we get here. All right, 32 watts. It has a second setting, so let me go ahead and go into the more powerful setting. All right, now we're getting 37 watts out. And now I'm going to combine it with those other accessories that I was testing earlier to get a higher output. Now I have a swarm of cables over here, and I have everything I've connected previously. The Sherpa power bank, just an iPhone, and my laptop are all connected into this piece of equipment here. Both the LED light strips and the lamp are all connected. All right, and then I'll turn on the inverter. Okay, nothing coming in yet. Now let me start with the fan. I'll turn on the high setting. So we have the LED strips pulling in a little bit. Now we have the fan. 31 watts are coming out right now. Now I'll turn on the second light, that little lamp I have. Okay, 37 watts coming in, not a big difference. Next, I'll go ahead and use this plug to charge all of the electronics. All right, phone just turned on. Let's see how much power we can get out of this so far. All right, now we just hit 73 is the maximum for right now, 75, 79, 80. The inverter turned on probably 10 seconds ago. 86 coming out, 88, 89 watts. Now this thing's capable from one of its AC ports to output up to 500 watts. If you go over 500 watts, that's going to, I believe it said it would shut down in the manual and just show you some indicator saying that it's too much power. It's one of the protections that's inside of the system, so you don't overuse the system and potentially ruin it. Okay guys, I just adjusted it. Now we have 12 watts going into the Sherpa. It wasn't powering before, but now you can see we're at a consistent 92 watts. It's a little small on the screen probably, but 92 watts coming out. Inverter's on pretty much the exact same level it was before, maybe slightly higher, I can't really tell, but the battery percentage just hit 78. So it's lasted through all this testing so far, not too bad, but it also is to pretty much be expected when the battery's so big. 505 watt hours, it's not really going to affect this setup too much. But I have one more thing to test to see what it can power, and that is a small space heater. All right, you can see here I have a space heater that I'm going to be using. It's just like an Amazon small space heater, and it pulls 500 watts right there. So it's pulling 500 watts. This thing is rated for a maximum of 500 watts. Let's go ahead and see if it can power something for 500 watts. It also has a peak of 750 in its AC ports, 750 watts. So it should be able to handle that first surge, if there is one, to power this thing. And then hopefully it will continuously run the space heater. This is the maximum that you can use of this. Let me move this over. And let's try this out. Plugging it in. And let's go ahead and see if it'll work. All right, ready? Here we go. All right, just starting up. 200. Let's see if it'll last. 314. 350. We're getting up there. It's already hot in here. It's literally the middle of summer, so it's starting to get hot in this office. 410 watts. This thing is handling it very well. But this is impressive so far. Let's see how long this thing will last. Alright guys, I'm back and I've been running this heater for a long time. I don't even know how long, maybe 20-30 minutes. And it's right at 20% battery. It's been running consistently this entire time. The fan has been at the same rate in terms of how loud and how fast I can hear it spinning. Overall, it's been working great. The inverter says it performs as it states. Obviously, I'm not exactly at 500 watts, but this is a pretty good estimate of what you'll get with this inverter. This could be helpful for devices if you run a bunch of them and it maybe has a big rating. Say if you have a power strip and you're connecting it like I did, and you have some higher power devices, as long as it's under 500 watts, you should be all set. This thing is still going strong, so we are good on that test, and that is really good. I'm very happy with the performance of this system. So now we'll get into the next section of this review. So now I'm going to recharge this system. We're at about 18% battery from using it with that space heater. So now I'm going to recharge it via two methods. The first one is just going to be with the AC charger. It comes in two pieces, and then you just plug it into this input here. Then I'm going to use this AC connection with a USB-C, because you could charge it from USB-C and from the wall at the same time. I don't have a solar panel that's big enough to charge this, so I'm just going to do what I can with what I have basically. But I'm going to start with AC only. And that should be enough to just charge it up. I didn't power anything on. All right, now we're getting about 67 watts. But in addition to the AC charger, in my unboxing video I talked about this, but you also get a car charger. So if you want to charge it from the cigarette lighter port in your car, you can do that as well. It's a slower charge time. It's I think around 10 hours, but you have that option if you need it. And so next here, I'm going to go ahead and connect this USB-C. I'm going to use my power bank, the Sherpa power bank, to charge with the AC ports and the USB-C. So let's see if we can get that full additional 45 watts in of charging. We have a successful USB-C and AC charging. Now we're getting, as you can see here, 108 watts, 107 watts coming in, and the maximum is 120 watts for solar panels, but it can take in a pretty significant amount of power here. This will recharge, I want to say, in around 5.5 to 6.5 hours is what they said in the manual. Cooling fans, pretty loud, not really loud, but just about the same as, or maybe a little less loud than when it was powering that space heater. Obviously these batteries are still cooling down from when I was running that space heater for like 30 minutes. So it makes sense that it will still have the cooling fans on. It's probably still cooling down from that session I had using the space heater. Other than that, let's go ahead and check out some more specific features of this system, and I'll give you some details, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, now that I got the testing out of the way, now I want to show you some specifics with the new Rockpals 500 and just show you a few different things that might be helpful for if you're actually considering buying one of these. So let's go ahead and get into it, and I will then compare it to the previous predecessor to this, which was also called the Rockpals 500, and that should be about the end of the video after that. But first, let me go ahead and get into some of the paperwork that actually came from this package. Okay, so the package came with a few of these different pieces of paper. There's a few things I want to let you guys know about each of these. The first one has to do with the extended warranty. So if you submit your order at this web address, it looks like, then you can get a free 6-month extended warranty. So that's an extension of the already 21 or 24-month warranty, which is standard with Rockpals systems. And here's some notice. The warranty must be submitted within 30 days of your purchase on Amazon, and the warranty starts as soon as you as soon as the sale is made. So as soon as you buy it, then that's when the warranty starts. So if you get this system, definitely get that extra warranty. That's a really big warranty. That might be the longest warranty I've seen for any solar generator that I've reviewed. Next, here is just one point from this guide. Now, I didn't know this until I saw this little fine print here. Okay, if the Rockpals 500, if its total output exceeds 500 watts, it will automatically shut off. Please ensure the power consumption is less than 500 watts, then press the power button. Now, I thought that this meant with the AC ports, but it looks like it's total. So if you have 500 watts coming from any of the combined ports to charge something or power something, it doesn't just have to do with the AC ports. You have to make sure that everything you're using at one given time is under 500 watts. I used that one space heater, and that one was 450 something. But if you are considering using it with a lot of different devices, make sure that it's under 500 watts total, not just in the AC ports. And then a couple last things here. I made a little mark. Page 2 talks about the warning labels. There's 2 here that would pop up if you were to run into something. Temperature warning. So if you're, if you're running it for a long time and it heats up a lot and doesn't have time to cool down, especially if you're in a really warm environment, that could be one reason why that would show up. But that's a protection. The next protection is overload warning. So if there's the overload warning, so if the power draw exceeds the port's maximum allowance, indicated by a red light on the port's button, you need to remove the device that's connected to the Rockpals and then press the button of the port to recover. That's important just in case you run into an issue where you have too much power coming in. Lastly here, knowing the working times for whatever device you're looking to plug into the Rockpals, assuming you consume 30 watts, so you're powering like an energy efficient TV or something. So if it's consuming 30 watts, the working time is calculated just like that. Battery capacity times the efficiency, which is 85% efficiency, and then you divide it by the wattage of the device you're using. 14 hours. For example, the fan that I use, say this thing pulled 10 watts and you do the same thing, it would be probably 3 times that. So it would last a long time, over a day. So that, I hope that helps and gives you a good idea of what you can run with this system. Okay, so this brings us to the price of the Rockpals 500, and you can see here on Amazon where they have it, it is $430, but I wanted to make sure you guys saw this coupon. I had to mark this and check this off, so make sure if you're going to get this that you have that coupon to save extra $50. And so just this solar generator alone, it is pretty competitively priced. Also, you can get it with solar panels. I'm going to scroll to the bottom here so you could see the different options, and you could include these 3 different options as well and save 10% if you buy the generator with the solar panel. There's 60 watt panels, and then there's also a 100 watt panel. So you'll save an additional $10 to $25 depending on what you get. But that's the pricing. I have the Amazon link below where you could find one for yourself or get a kit. And yeah, that's how you'll find it. Lastly, I have a further comparison between this new Rockpals system to other brands of solar generators around the same battery size. So some examples of ones that are in that category are the Yeti 500X, the Bluetti AC50S, and also the Jackery Explorer 500. I think that would be something good to check over in case you're wondering about if it's priced well or different features. So I highly recommend you check that out, and that will be in the link in the description below. And lastly, I just want to thank Rockpals for letting me test this system, and I am overall very satisfied with the performance that I tested. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will hopefully see you in another video.